Hey guys, this is Luke Anderson. I'm here at the Capcom booth at Gamescom in Cologne, and I'm joined by Greg Bryant, who's the senior producer for MotoGP. Greg, thanks for joining us today.
Hi, so we're looking today at the Alpha Build demo of MotoGP, and here we're focusing primarily on the arcade mode. So the key thing about MotoGP this year is to make the most accessible bike game on two wheels. So the main message here is that we're introducing arcade mode, which is a completely new mode to MotoGP. Previously, arcade mode used to mean a game experience which was slightly dumbed down handling, and it wasn't a whole definitive game mode. But this team, we're taking prestige to what arcade is all about, so we're introducing the time left mechanic. So on the screen you can see that Tom, the lead designer who's racing, the time left mechanic is all about earning time rewards whilst racing. So if he's slipstreaming, he's getting time bonuses. If he's overtaking, he gets a nice time bonus. If he gets a clean section, he gets also a time bonus. But the key thing that makes it slightly different from other games as well is that the time you earn at the end of the race gets carried over to the next race. So it's all about how much time you have left that you're carrying forward through the season. So the game starts off easy, but starts to get progressively harder and harder and harder as you get through the season. So it's all about at the end at Valencia, how much time you have left. Do I go back? Do I re-race? Do I earn some more time?
And you were saying before, there's a bit of like kind of risk versus reward depending on the way you play, whether you're kind of like an Iceman or kind of you're really aggressive. Can you kind of explain how that works with the time bonus?
Well, the key thing is that the more risks that you take, if you kind of choose to go down the straight and pop a wheelie and showboat a little bit, you earn more time bonus. If you decide to kind of come on the inside and do a nice overtake, you get a nice time bonus. Or if you just want to kind of casually take it a bit easy, you might not earn as much time, but you kind of finish the race. So as further as you go through the season, it's not just about coming first, it's all about deciding the strategy you want to employ. So maybe you're a bit low on time halfway through the season, you need to top that up a bit, so you might spend a lot of that race slipstreaming, earning some like a sufficient amount of time bonus, so when you do the next race you've got the time that you need to progress forward.
Cool. What's some of the feedback you kind of got from fans of the game and fans of MotoGP that you kind of wanted to implement into the game this time around?
Well, the key thing is that Monumental, we have Steve Best, who's our dedicated community manager that works solely on MotoGP about connecting and communicating with the community. And through that, we learn a lot of things of what they liked and didn't like about the franchise. And one of the key pieces of feedback was the AI. In previous GPs that I've worked on, the AI would always use a faked handling model. It wouldn't ever race the same way the player. It would take corners slower, it'd have artificial boosts on the straight, and we just thought this is just not good enough for a AAA MotoGP game. So this time the AI is going to be racing fully on the same physics model as the player. But in order to achieve that, we've set up and engineered a new handling system, AI system, which basically means that designers and testers can basically get hot laps, which means that AI actually look for opportunities now to overtake and try to kind of slam the door shut, as they say on the commentary, and cut the player off. So rather than getting the annoying T-boning you see in motorbike games, they're actually thinking about how they're going to pass you and then do a proper overtake manoeuvre. And when we implemented this early in the project, we could see a massive difference in that feeling of that you're racing round a pack.
And you've also introduced a kind of more streamlined control scheme, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, this is a key focus. We felt in previous MotoGPs when we did our competitive analysis that the control scheme meant a very high level of entry of having to use all the different sticks, front and back brake control. So this time we just boiled it down to the key mechanics that are important to racing. So that's steering, accelerating on the right trigger and braking, front brake on the left trigger. And then for the more advanced users, we're entering new mechanics that kind of give layers of complexity and fidelity. So if you want to improve, you can then start using what is our new tuck-in mechanic. So this is where you're on a straight, you tuck in and you pull close under the hub, the tank of the bike, by holding down the A button. And then that means you get tighter, more fidelity control in the straights. And then when you release that, you can drop round and go around the corners much more smoothly. And it creates a much more accessible experience. And I think one of the last things that's worth mentioning is in real-world motorbikes, the front brake does a lot of the braking, whereas in previous MotoGP games it was split kind of 60-40 between front and back brake. Whereas what we're doing this time to narrow the band between hardcore and casual players, we're actually making the front brake do 90% of the braking, so the back brake is actually only there to kind of adjust your line and kick the tyre out. So you can now do that on the kind of the blue button, just flick it out, get it around the corner, so advanced players can actually earn those vital seconds over the entry-level players, and that's where the leaderboard battles are. So we're tightening the difference between the entry-level and the hardcore on the leaderboards.
And you guys are working really hard to get this running at 60 frames per second because it's such a kind of fast racing game. How are you kind of balancing that with kind of the effects that are in the game, and can you kind of talk about some of the kind of graphical effects you put into it?
Well, I mean, we just had to completely come to this a fresh approach, and we feel that in order to be a competitive racing game, you have to be at 60 hertz. The 60 hertz experience is what you need when you're racing 200 miles per hour motorbikes doing real motorbike speed. So that does mean a visual compromise, but what we've done is we've tried to play heavily on post-processing effects, because that gives a lot of eye candy to the user. So we have nice vignette blurs, motion blurs, and lots of stuff like shadows and all this sort of stuff that add a lot of value, but are actually quite affordable to do. And when you're going that fast and you're getting the 60 hertz, you don't notice some of the other things like super amounts of polygons on a tyre barrier or stuff like that you're shooting past at 200 miles an hour.
And last but not least, I believe you guys are incorporating the 2009 and 2010 season in the game. Can you kind of talk a little bit about how you're going to be implementing both of those in the game?
Well, this is a fantastic opportunity for consumers, because we're launching at the start of the season in 2009, but we're giving free DLC content for the 2010 season. And the great thing is that because of the rule changes in the MotoGP season, the Moto2 class with the 600cc bikes will also be introduced. So that means that consumers, once they've got all their DLC, free DLC, they're going to have 4 classes of bike they can race through, plus 2 whole seasons worth of content. And this is we've thought about this from the start of the development cycle, so it's not just bolted on at the end, it's actually integral to the player's progression through the career. So once they get their kind of DLC, they can fully progress their career to the finality.
Brilliant. Okay, sounds great. So when can we finally see MotoGP 09/10 out?
We're looking to release at the start of the season, which is March 2010.
Great. Thanks a lot for your time.
Cheers. Thank you.